My name is David Clark, and I am an ultra runner. I live in Colorado, and I'm also a coach and a Herbalife 24 athlete. And we're going to be talking a little bit about ultra running in general, how to train for something as crazy as an ultra marathon, and specifically the Leadville Trail 100. Types of ultras. That's a type of ultra. My cat is named Ultra. How about that? Ultra marathons mean that we run anything from farther than 26.2 miles up to 100 and even longer sometimes. So our goal with this series is to give you everything that you need to train for and complete the Leadville Trail 100. The series is going to go over everything from nutrition to the mental aspects of race day, to hardcore training, mileages, running tips, everything that you need to successfully navigate the series. The Leadville Trail 100. You want to run the Leadville Trail 100. Now let me be, maybe not the first person, but let me be one of the many people that are going to call you crazy. Let me be one of those. You're crazy. How the hell would you ever want to do that? In Leadville, if you're running so long you start seeing llamas, it's not necessarily an hallucination. There are actually llamas on the course. Some of them even have red beards. One of the things that makes Leadville so unique is that it's a very small community. It's a very small town, and it started as a mining community. And the ultra itself is uniquely tied to the city. You know, there's other ultras out there that are in, you know, whether it's the western states or Umstead or Vermont and all these amazing races, but the Leadville 100 has over the years come to define the city of Leadville, and it actually saved the community. It started out as a small mining town. The mining dried up, people were starving, and Ken Klober, the crazy guy who founded this race, decided he was going to invite everybody to come up and run 100 miles through the wilderness. And somehow that worked, and somehow that brought you and me up there and lots of other people. So the course for Leadville, we're going to be preparing you for the course. It starts in downtown Leadville. You run out 50 miles to the city, the ghost town of Winfield, and you go over Hope Pass to get there. Hope Pass starts at about the 40-mile point. Go over Hope Pass and down the back side. You get to pick up your pacers and your friends if you're lucky enough to have friends stupid enough to pace you. And then you head back towards Leadville. You go back over Hope Pass and you get to the finish. And you won't be the same when you get there. And we're going to try to make sure you do get there. First to the starting line and then to the finish line. That's what this series is about. Give you what you need. We're going to discuss where to start. You know, I wouldn't rule out any particular background for ultra running, honestly. I think that you should have a couple things. You should probably be in good health. You should probably not have any broken bones. You should probably not be real smart. If you've been hit in the head with a hammer, that's usually a really good thing for ultra running. That'll prepare you very well. If you've spent a lot of time in a coma, lived under power lines, have an affinity for eating lead paint chips, these types of things are really important to the background of an ultra runner, and have in fact served me quite well. You know, if you've run a 5K, that's probably good. If you haven't, you just stop the video and go run one and come back so that you can at least say you've run a 5K. Long running is really the cornerstone of any ultramarathon training program. You're going to have to be willing to go out and run long, and we're going to go over that with you, and what that's like and what we mean by running long, because that could mean just about anything. For the case of ultra, we're going to stretch that run out longer and longer and longer as the course, as the series goes, and as you learn more and more about what you can do on your long runs. Your long run in ultra running is actually typically your 2 long runs. We like to do, in ultra running world, they have what's called the long run sandwich, or the ultra running sandwich. And there are actually sandwiches on the course during the ultra. That's not what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about having a rest day with 2 long runs back to back, and then a rest day after it. The 2 rest days being the bread, and the runs in the middle being the meat. Unless, of course, you're a vegan like I am, in which case the long runs in between would be the vegetables, but that sounds confusing, and I don't want to confuse you more than I already have. So we're going to have a rest day. I suggest you have 2 rest days per week. You can do something differently if you've done something differently in the past and it's worked for you, fine, but make sure you're adequately rested after and before your long runs. So we start with a rest day. The next day we're going to do a long run, starting out in that 90 minutes to 2-hour range, and it's going to be a flat long run. Roads are fine, flat bike paths, anything like that's going to be great. This will prepare you for the long, flat sections of the Leadville 100 course, coming out of Fish Hatchery. Around that section of the course, it's flat, and if you don't train for it, it'll kind of chew you up. So that's what we want to do on long run number 1. Long run number 2, we're going to have you run some hills and some trails, preferably single track, preferably with lots of climbing and hills and rolling. However you can simulate that is great, but if you don't have those trails. But whatever you run on, it should be a soft, forgiving surface. So we want to get you on the dirt. We want to get you off the asphalt for your second run. If you prefer to run the hilly section first and the road run followed by it, that's certainly fine, as long as you're getting them both in, as long as you're staying at a nice steady pace, and you're getting your mileage in. Again, 90 minutes to 2 hours on each of those runs as a starting point, and we'll stretch those out as we progress. That's the long running ultra sandwich. So our first hands-on lesson is going to be in treadmill versus road versus terrain, hilly terrain running. The 3 are all important. You know, they're all tools that can help you complete the job. I know that you know, we all kind of have the things that we've done in the past that have worked, and we like to hold on to those. But I would submit to you that in ultra running, if there's something that you don't like to do, it's probably something that you should work on. And you know, I say all the time that if you can adapt the mentality of, if I'd have known it was going to be this hard, I'd have done it sooner, that you're probably really close to making some breakthroughs in ultra running. I personally think the treadmill is a great tool, and I use a treadmill. It's kind of my secret weapon, so don't tell anyone treadmill, because I wouldn't want that to get out, but especially in Boulder, they'll really look at me weird. But I use the treadmill, and I think it'll work for you too. It's mentally difficult, but that's okay, because ultra running is a mentally difficult sport. So the thing with treadmill running is to have a plan and to go into it with that plan and execute. Don't just go, if you're going to go run, you know, 8 miles on the treadmill or run 1 hour on the treadmill, then, you know, you're probably better off just heading out your front door and jogging around the neighborhood. That's not going to get you anywhere. But if you go use the treadmill for something specific like hill work, which is my highest recommendation of how to utilize a treadmill, you know, set that treadmill at 4%, 5%, run at 6 miles per hour, 7 miles per hour, 8 miles per hour, whatever you can handle for an hour. That would be a great use of the treadmill. Running uphill, 1 hour, hard effort, sustained. It's a great workout for you if you live in Colorado, or if you live in flat Kansas or wherever and you don't have access to hills, then that'll do you well. Road running is great. It's also highly repetitive. Your feet strike the ground in the same exact way every time. So, you know, obviously you can build up to injuries that way. You can create little aches and pains that are brought on, overuse type things by using the same exact muscle group again and again. The trails are very forgiving. The trails are undulating, and they allow you to use a wide to distribute the workload over a great amount of muscles. So the trails tend to be almost healing a little bit in some ways. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we've given you a little bit of information, and more importantly, we've given you a picture of what this web series is going to be about. Our goal here being to give you everything you need to train for and successfully attempt and finish the Leadville Trail 100 run. We're going to go into a lot more detail in the upcoming episodes on training and what it takes. In fact, next week's episode is going to be talking about nutrition. It's going to be done by my good friend and fellow ultra runner, Abby. She's our registered dietitian, and she's going to let you know the importance of a balanced diet and nutrition and how that all comes into play. So make sure you tune in for that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a great time. Remember to smile out there and enjoy it. It's a gift. Every day is a gift to be able to run, and don't spoil it. Go get a sandwich. It's time for a sandwich. Leadville Trail 100. You want to run the treadmill